it's Julie Renee. Thank you so much for joining me on this video program. This program is all about winning the inner game, and I'm going to take you step by step through a system that will get you exactly where you want to be. But before we get started, I'm going to tell you a little bit about me and my expertise and why I know how to do this. And then we're going to go right into a little primer on the human blueprint, which will be really helpful for you because it's how we actually base our healing. It's where we bring in our activations. And then we're going to go step by step into the system of clearing problems in your perceptive field. So it's going to be an exciting 15-20 minutes. All right, so some of you already know me. I'm Julie Renee, and if you haven't heard me talk, I'll just share a tiny bit about my story. I literally survived the worst of human health experiences. Surviving the atomic bomb testing in the Nevada desert, I had 17 surgeries, 5 near-death experiences. I died twice. I was in a wheelchair for a year and told I would never walk without canes. So that's just a little snippet of a saga that went on for many, many years. And what I finally came to 7 years ago in my garden is I can't take any more pain and suffering. And so I asked God, please God, take me or make me well. And in that moment, I was really fully prepared to stop being in my body also. I think if you've ever suffered like that, if you've ever had just an ongoing series of problems that just seem to never end and go on for 20 years, you might be at that point, and it may not be about the physical, but it might just be business suffering or something where you just never get your breakthrough, you just never get better. And I realized in that week, that first week in the garden, that what I had been doing, and even the week before, is I had been praying, and my strong faith kept me alive, which is, God, please help me to survive this. And so I was surviving. And what I realized is that I wanted to thrive, or I wanted to thrive on the other side. And in the garden, which is so amazing, I had the experience in the very first day of watching a very, very sick cell go from completely damaged and really in bad shape, a master cell, the cell that teaches all the cells around it how to behave, the stem cells that are so excited about these days. I watched that cell go from very damaged to perfection. And I watched that in my mind's eye. I'm a clairvoyant. I was able actually, in meditation, to watch the sick cell, and it kept improving and kept improving and kept improving, and all of a sudden it reached that God state. And so incredible. I mean, it started pulsing blue, and it was really like looking at the face of God. And I knew that I was being given a very special gift and a very special insight into how we as humans are designed, and that we can actually regenerate from the inside out. From that moment, and then for weeks after, I continued to go to my garden in prayer and meditation, and I continued to improve my heart condition, my lung condition, my legs that were in unbearable pain to walk. I was running within a few weeks. I was running 30 miles a week on mountain trails. I was dancing on stage. I was doing all kinds of things that people said it's impossible for you to do. And this is because I accessed the human blueprint. And back then, my urgent, compelling needs were to get healthy. And, so that is how I used the blueprint. But as I've gotten so healthy, as you can see, I'm super healthy now and well-balanced and really happy and connected. Life goes out of survival and now goes into really this place of how do I thrive in my business world? And that's where I am today. I am really going deeply into the blueprint in the ways that in any way I'm held back to be really seen as a celebrity with lots of fans and lots of connections, getting my books out in the world. So it's really, really fun to see the huge shifts that happen just from shifting the field of perception. So that's a little bit about my story, and that actually leads us right into our lesson, our little tiny snippet lesson on the human blueprint. So behind me I've prepared a whiteboard so we can save a little time. I've just popped things up to give us a little tickler. So we're going to be covering the human blueprint, and we're just going to do the 5 main elements of the blueprint, and we'll do it as quickly as possible. I just feel like it gives you a foundation so that you understand that it's not magic. We're actually going somewhere and working on something very specific that's our design, that we have always been designed out of. So I think for a number of years my business was called Miraculous Healing, and people always thought that miraculous meant not scientific. It was like a miracle from God. And it is a miracle from God, but it is very scientific. I actually have taught physics professors and medical doctors, psychiatrists, biblical scholars. Those were my students. They were all the big brains. And what I decided as I re-niched myself this year is that I really wanted to get it out to the whole public, not just the big brains. So I'm sure you're a big brain, but you might also have some nice balance and fun in your life, and you'd like to know this. How do I work with my blueprint? So the human blueprint, you can think of it as PEMER. That'll be an easy way to remember it. P-E-M-E-R. Perception. Perception is the word. It's all the thoughts, the thought forms, the group mind, the group hypnosis, and everything that has come towards you that you've developed a thought, and it's from prior to this life, so lifetimes before, and it's from groups that you've been involved with in churches and social groups and things like that. So it's a lot of information. It's all the thought forms, the things that actually become something and affect you. So that's perception, and that's the field we're going to work in. And then essence is the next part of the blueprint, and essence is both spirit, soul, and life force. Spirit meaning the light and information that comes from lifetime to lifetime. Soul is the protective chalice or barrier, or you might even think of it as the skin of the spirit. And life force, the force we bring in from essence into our bodies. So that's essence. And then matter, M. Matter is all the physical aspects, the cells, the glands, the organs, the fluid, the bones, the teeth, the everything, everything that makes you up, including the DNA. So all the physical aspects are matter. And then there's energy, and energy is chakras. It's the aura, it's meridians, it's nadis. Those are mini chakras all over in the body. The halo or the golden ring. There's a human access portal, which is in the back of your head. That's where spirit comes in and out from the time that you're a little baby until you leave your body. That's your access portal in the back of your head. So lots of things that make up the energy body. And then realms. And the realms is the last aspect. And those are the things that support the blueprint. The realm of origin. And that is like really the Genesis realm. And then we have the realm of embodiment, everything that allows the spirit to live in a body, the realm of embodiment. Then we have the quantum field or the quantum realm, and that is that which allows us in no time or space to regenerate, to actually bring into matter something that exists in another realm. So restoring cells, glands, and organs, that's how that happens. And then there's the realm of amplification. And that is like ripples on a pond where you can see that we have so many ways that we amplify things as human beings. It supports us. So even cell-to-cell communication. When I do VIP 1 days, that would be, we're doing both cell-to-cell communication, we're doing quantum energy work. Actually, we're working with everything in those VIP 1 days. Okay, so that gives you a little mini lesson on the human blueprint. And we're going to go into a conversation about winning the inner game and what it's really about. So as I think of it, let's talk about what perception really does. So if you think about a Donald Trump, or you think about a Richard Branson, they're going to have a very different perceptive field. Like the information that's coming into their space from perception and how they receive things and who they know their self to be is going to be very different than maybe Marcy Shimoff or Barbara Niven, or, I mean, it'll be very, very different how the perceptive fields direct who you are, how you understand things, how you perceive things. So think about this as your programming. And remember that I talked about perception as being the programs that you had brought into you prior to birth. So if you're kind of the person who believes in past lives, and of course we live before we come into the body, whether you've had a life on earth or not, you are alive as a spirit. So whatever you've collected before the body, and then you have everything that you've collected in the body yourself personally, so your teachers and your parents and who told you what and how they influenced you, your church, all the group mind of hypnosis, even groups that your parents belong to, maybe the influence of what was going on with your mother when you were in her womb, all of that is in perception. And so changing perception to a very positive space is very doable. And what I've noticed is when I really have cleaned house with my perception, my world is just rocked. I mean, it's just really changed. So one of the things that I had in perception as an example is that I had experienced a lot of violence in my early life, and it was a tough thing to really resolve. I think I came to this loving place where I loved myself and I appreciated the challenges that people were going through who I experienced the violence with. But it never was really out of my field until I was aware that it was in perception. Like, why was it that I wasn't really having the juicy connections with most men? I mean, I'd have men say they'd like to do something with me or protect me somehow or get my work out in the world, but there wasn't that really like yummy, juicy connection. So one day I cleared my perception around violence and anything that had ever happened to me or my body, and kind of blew me away because it was a lot. There was, I literally did this with my hand for like 3 hours. And I muscle tested to get the information on where I was at and was it all clear. But what was so amazing is the next week, how men showed up all over the place. They were like holding doors at the movie theater for me and opening doors and asking me if they could help me and extra help at the grocery store. And it was so amazing because my perception had changed, and who men had become to me were now protectors and providers, and they were looking out for me. And they it was like this really different piece of information that was now dictating who I was in the world and how men would show up with me. So that's a little insight into me. I think you can do the same thing. As a matter of fact, I really had challenges with technology, and I cleared my whole relationship with technology. And that was another big one. If you can imagine being like a force field that I am, how much technology will go haywire. And I claimed that I was a master at technology and also cleared master marketer. And I've been really blown away by the shifts and changes that have happened in my life as a result of that. I mean, my marketing, I just rewrote 14 web pages and wrote a book in like a total of 6 weeks. I got a new book done, the 100% You Formula. The connections have been so strong. The way that I show up in public is different. Like, people aren't kind of puzzled about who I am. My field is just straight out loving, supportive, here to make the event better or whatever it is. I'm showing up as a loving, strong, powerful support. So that's the possibility for clearing perception. Now I'm going to do another little video, so I want you to just stay tuned. We're going to do another 5 minutes, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to clear you on that video. So I'll see you in the next tape.